Welcome, new and returning listeners, to today's episode of the Black Business Roundtable. I am your host, Doug Blackshear, broadcasting to you live from the City of Diversity, Oakland, California, at 4 p.m. Pacific Time and 7 p.m. East Coast Time every Newsday Thursday. Today, we're going to have a wonderful young man coming on and introducing himself. He's finishing up, or he's going to USC, University of Southern California, finishing, going into his third year at USC. And he is the epitome of young Black people doing great things in our community, in our city, in our county, and in our state. And his name is Isaiah Adler. Isaiah Adler. Moving forward, we want to thank Dr. Ashley Coleman, who has been the epitome of what it means to be healthy, what it means to have a strong therapist, and what it means to have a person who can help us get through these challenging times. Because as we know, this country is faced with some of the most challenging times in the history of this country. And we want to make sure that those of you who needs that psychological help, just like you have a broken hand, just like you have a toothache, just like you have a splinter in your brain, you need a doctor who can help you get through those challenging times. I want to thank also Donnie Glover, who has allowed me to come on every Thursday and who had encouraged me to get back in the game, because one of the things that we are finding out in this country is that it is not the time to be tired. It is not the time to be sick. It is not the time to give up. We have an election coming up that requires all of us to engage, requires all of us to vote. And if you have people who live on the East Coast, you have people who live in the Midwest states, on coast to coast, border to border, please encourage them to vote, vote, vote. And we also want to thank Donnie Glover and Be More News for allowing us to have the opportunity to share our stories on the West Coast that are similar to the challenges that are happening on the East Coast, and how we can work together to solve all of our problems, and the solutions that we have on the East Coast, or the solutions that we have on the West Coast, and the solutions that we have border to border. We share those prime problem solving solution that is going to make our country better, and specifically for the African American community. But without any further delay, I want to make sure that you get a full breath of this young man and understand that he, Isaiah Adler, Isaiah has demonstrated the ability to be a hardworking young man, 21 years old, just turned 21. So without any further delay, I'm going to bring in Darnell Adler, and I want him to share his story of success. And once again, he's going into his third year at USC in Southern California. Now he's driving, but I asked him, can he please come on today, because our audience needs to see what it is to be an African American man, and a successful African American man, going to college and working this summer in San Francisco Public Defender's Office. So without any further delay, I'm going to bring on Mr. Isaiah Adler. Okay, let's get him in here. Isaiah
Hello, can you
Adler.
hear me?
Yes, sir. How you
Hey, how's
doing,
it
young
going?
man? Audience,
I'm
this
doing
here.
good.
Yes.
Yeah,
Isaiah,
thank you for having me on the podcast, and hello to everybody who's listening. Excuse the connection. I'm driving. I'm about to get into the Grapevine, so um, sorry if the connection is pretty bad. But yeah, my name is Isaiah Adler. I'm a rising junior at the University of Southern California. I'm from San Francisco, but I live in Oakland. And yeah, I guess I'll speak a little bit about myself. So, growing up, I went to Cathedral School for Boys. It's a all boys middle school in San Francisco. Following that, going to high school, I went to St. Ignatius College Prep, which is in the Sunset. And then from there, I went to junior college for 1 year and then transferred out to the University of Southern California, where I studied political science. So yeah, I've been pretty passionate about like politics and just history growing up. So that pretty much was my decision to go into political science. Since I've been at school, trying to maintain a pretty high GPA. On top of that, I help out my brother. He has like an AI company that he's built, and he's been teaching me a lot about it. So that's built my interest in AI a little bit as well. I'm really passionate about our community. So again, I appreciate you having me on here. Any questions you want me to answer specifically?
yeah. Can you tell our audience the foundation that brought you to where you are today? I know you talked about the schools you've gone, but I know your mother, and your mother
Right.
has been one of the most hardest working a woman that I've ever met. She's put two kids through college. She's well, one through, and she's putting you through now. But can you talk to our audience some of the
Yes, sir.
roadmap?
That's correct.
Yes. Can you talk to our audience, so to those mothers who have young boys, young men that they're raising? Can you talk to our audience on how you were able to stay focused and achieve the things that you have achieved? Because your brother graduated from USC, and he, like you said, is doing a A1. And audience, you may remember him when I did my first comeback a month and a half ago. His brother is Darnell Adler. He won the Red Bull Basement What's Your Invention? But can you talk to our audience, and specifically the mothers and the sons, on how you were able to stay focused, how you were able to stay uh, chimed in
Yeah.
on achieving the things that you are achieving right now? Thank you, Isaiah.
Yep. Of course. And again, I apologize if the internet gets bad or it starts getting a little choppy here and there. But yeah, so my mother actually has three kids. I have an older sister. Her name's Alexis, and then my older brother Darnell. My older sister graduated from Sac State, and then my brother just graduated last year from the University of Southern California. And I mean, my mom's pretty much been my backbone on keeping myself level-headed, humble, staying on the right path, not getting into trouble, learning how to communicate. Pretty much whoever I'm talking to. So yeah, to speak on my mother a little bit, she's a really hardworking single mother,
Well, well,
and
well,
for any
Isaiah,
other single mothers out there,
Isaiah, let's go back to the humble.
yep,
You and your brother are extremely
right,
humble. You're not big headed, know it all young man. Tell our audience, specifically the mothers and the young men, how important it is to stay humble. Thank you.
oh yeah, it's really important to stay humble. Honestly, I think when you're more humble, your true greatness gets shown even brighter when you pretty much don't have to speak everything out yourself, when your actions and anything behind the scenes can pretty much speak for you as your character. And yeah, I think like if I were to walk in a room, or if Mr. Blacksher were to walk in a room, he'd be able to speak pretty highly of me, and I would just trust that what I've done growing up and how I've been raised, he'd be able to speak on that. I think about being humble, it's taught at an early stage. It's, to me, I feel like I got taught it pretty much by being surrounded by, um, some of my family members that maybe weren't at the best position growing up, but they worked really hard, and now they have very beautiful families. Um, they have very stable jobs and income, and now they're being able to raise generations of our young Black community to the next level, which is very important.
Okay, now I didn't mean to interrupt you about talking about your mom, but I just wanted our audience to understand that as this young man and his brother, as they are exceeding and
Sorry,
excelling.
I can't hear you. I see you talking, but I can't hear you. Again, I can't hear you. Maybe should I leave and try to rejoin?
Okay, can you hear me now?
I don't know if it's the internet.
It might be the internet. How about now? Okay, why don't you go out and then come back in? Audience, this young man is the epitome of hard work and dedication. And we want to thank him for taking the time out as he drives back down to Southern California to prepare for his third year at USC. And once again, audience, we have many African American Black men who are being challenged right now with having peer pressure of doing good and bad. And this man, oh, there he is. He's back in. Okay, let's get him back in here. Okay, as Isaiah heads back up through the grapevine going to USC, we want to share his story and his challenges that he has had to get to where he is. Right now, we have many African American men, and I'm going to say this, and I say this embarrassing. We had 22% of African American men who voted for Trump. How's that working for you? Can you hear me now, Darnell? Or excuse me, Isaiah?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay, Isaiah, finish telling us the story about your journey to be where you are today. Isaiah and I had lunch yesterday, and let me tell you something. This young man is so humble, but hardworking, and we want to share his story with our audience so that mothers and young men who are, and how old are you, Isaiah?
I just turned 21.
Okay, please continue with your story of your journey to be where you are today.
Yeah,
Thank you.
of course. I'm not exactly sure where I left off, but I guess growing up in our schools, honestly, besides my brother, myself, and maybe a few of our close friends now, we weren't surrounded by many other young men like ourselves in schools, this and that. Honestly, there's just not enough representation from us. So not only that, we see that in teachers. So applying to colleges, staying level-headed, getting good grades, it was kind of hard, or at least in my opinion harder than it may have been for other white kids or Asian kids or Hispanic kids who have more representation from older people that look like them. So when it almost just feels like you and your brother or a few friends you have, you guys got to kind of rely on each other and stay level-headed, push each other to not only just get good grades, but if we see job opportunities or internship opportunities or any type of clubs or this or that, we always reach out to each other and try to, put each other on different things that would benefit us. And this is also something I've been doing at school. Like when I go to USC, again, there's not much diversity because it's a PWI, but the few diversity that we do have, we all look out for each other there. Whether that's getting each other in different business fraternities or different clubs, or you see someone, you just go up to them, reach out, make a friend. And it's all about just, building a community that you want to see, almost like Dr. Martin Luther King was talking about. You want to be the change you want to see. So if you want to see a change, you really gotta start it. You gotta be the change.
Well, let me ask you something real quick. You said that there's not a lot of diversity in the schools that you
And sorry
went
again, I
to.
see you talking, but I can't hear you.
Okay. How about now? Audience, as we talk to Isaiah, he's traveling from Oakland to USC. Okay, go out and come back in. Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you, so
Okay,
I'm not sure if you're still talking to me.
Yeah. Go out
and
come back in. Okay, why Isaiah works on his can you hear me now? While Isaiah works on his audio technical difficulty, one of the things that impressed me with this young man is, once again, he's being humble, but he has demonstrated the ability to take care of business. He has demonstrated the ability to take on challenges that has made him the young man that he is. Isaiah has demonstrated the ability to not be pressed by peer pressure. In our communities all over this country, our young people, specifically African American men, are being challenged with joining gangs and hanging out on the corner and smoking weed. Oh, there he is again. Let's see. Let's get him back in here. Okay. Okay, we're having a little bit of technical difficulties getting him in. Once again, he's driving, so he's going to have some challenges as he goes through the grapevine. But at the end of the day, Black America, we have young African American men who are doing great things, who have demonstrated the ability to be winners, to be leaders, to be law-abiding citizens in our community. And we have a media frenzy that wants to portray us as nincompoops, as people who have not demonstrated the ability to participate in the American dream. We have men, and I'm going to say this, and I hope this doesn't offend anyone, but we had 78% of African American men who voted for Kamala Harris. Then we have 22% of African American men who voted for Trump. You ought to be shaming yourself. You ought to be shaming yourself. And I'm going to say this to validate what I just said. Some men are not used to having Black women in charge. Some men are not used to having Black women who have leadership skill. Some men, Black men, who are not used to understanding that it is critical that we recognize the Black woman in this country as being, according to the way they've been treated, the lowest persons the lowest human beings in our society. And that's shameful. That's shame, shame, shame. We have to understand that there are so many Black women out there who have raised kids, raised families, raised themselves, pulled themselves out of poverty, went to school, went to trade school, went to academic school, and who have demonstrated the ability to be leaders, to run many different businesses, be extremely polished in our society. For example, Barbara Lee, Congresswoman Barbara Lee, now she's the mayor of Oakland. Congresswoman Latifah Simon. Brooke Jenkins, the district attorney in San Francisco. We have women out there who have done some amazing things. And we are very, very appreciative of that. And we need to support our Black women as they. Oh, there he's back. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, continue your story. You last talked about your mom and how important she has been in bringing you where you are today. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, again, so my mom does it all determined. She's invested so much in pretty much everything into my brother, my sister, and I. So her investment is almost paying off, as I'm the last one to finish college, and then after that we'll be able to return everything to her and then start building our families on our own. Like you were saying, talking about Brooke Jenkins and all summer as well, through an internship opportunity. And I was also talking about how you got to look out for each other, and Black women. You got to look out for each other. You guys got to make communities within communities so that you guys are, all looking out for each other, taken care of, because we're all we got. So that's really important.
Well, let's take a deeper dive into that. One of the things I found about your mother is that she really pushes all her kids, you, your brother, your sister, the best that you can be. Do your own thing. How important was that having that strong female support behind you to get you where you are today?
Yeah, so that strong female support is everything. She'll tell you right from wrong when you're young, and then that stuff is really built in you growing up. It keeps you level-headed. I could say everything in the world about my mom. I don't know how she did it, honestly.
Well, let me just tell you this. Your mom is the epitome. She needs to be a poster lady of what a Black, strong female is. She dedicated her life to making sure her kids have opportunities that are not afforded to most kids. Where there was no hope, she created hope. Would that be a correct statement?
Right.
Okay, all right. Now, as you go into your third year at USC, hey, can you roll your window up?
Oh, my window's rolled up. Are you talking about this?
Oh yeah. Can you roll that up? Okay, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's close. Yep.
Now, can you tell us how your third year at USC is going and the challenges that you're going to be faced with as you move forward?
Okay, yeah. My third year, it's about to get a bit more stressful. I'm kind of torn between my major choices right now. So I was doing political science, but now I'm considering switching to either econ or intelligence and cyber operations, but I think where I'm leading towards right now is mostly staying with political science or econ out of the three, I mean,
Now, what
and
is econ? What is econ?
economics. So
Okay,
it's a lot more like mathematical based.
so you have the ability, because of your background and your hard work, that you can go from political science to econ mathematics. How is that? How is that possible, young man? How did you prepare yourself for that?
Um, I prepare myself by working hard in school. Um, putting in extra time and making sure your homework's all good. Because that's where it starts. If your homework wasn't good, then you weren't going to come to class prepared. So one thing I always did in high school, middle school was to make sure that my homework was turned in on time and as well as I could. And then, you got to put in time outside of school to just work on your craft because, you show up to class and you don't know what's going on. As a black man, that's just unacceptable. Like, you got to, everybody in the classroom already looks at us like we might not be as smart or we shouldn't be here or how did we get here. So anytime you're in a classroom, a workspace, just out and about, you always got to present yourself at the highest level possible.
Well, let me ask you this: how important was it to have your mom making sure that your homework was done? Have your mom make sure that you guys were prepared academically with your books, uh, whatever resources you needed. In addition to that, you spoke that there were not a lot of people who looked like you who went to school. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So for my mom, I would say middle school, she was really hard on my brother and I. That's where I had my most challenges academically. Um, from whether I was, playing on the game too much or just hanging out with my friends too long. And then I started slipping up on schoolwork, not turning things in on time. So she got on us pretty early about that. So she didn't really have many problems about that as we got to high school and in college we're on our own. So it's all up to us. And you gotta go everywhere with like a vision. You can't go to USC or any other college and just go there blind. You gotta have a vision and a path. After college, you want to get this job or you want to go to the next college. You just can't do that if you're not on par with everyone else academically, grade wise, um, because there's a lot more that comes with just having good grades. You got to get recommendations from teachers or professors or anyone else. So that stuff all is built on your character and how you do academically or you present yourself.
What's your
And then,
GPA?
my GPA my freshman year was a 4.0, and then
Wow.
my sophomore year it dropped a bit. I think it was like a 3.6, but I got to go work harder and bring it back up this semester. Um,
Well, let me ask you this: how important was it because for you to have a 4.0, even a 3.6, my daughter had a 3.78, a 3.80. Um, how important is it to not get sidetracked, and how important was it to stay focused, and how did you do that to get where you are today?
right. Being sidetracked is a real thing, and I think everybody at some points here and there can get caught up in the lights or this or that or hanging around with your friends too long or whatever the situation is. So being sidetracked is a thing that everybody encounters, and again, like you just gotta be level-headed and you gotta have a goal and a vision in your mind and where you want to get to. So um, you're just not going into classes, just not paying attention or not even showing up. And it also helps, like I said, you don't see many people like yourself And obviously the teachers notice that. So if you're the only one, if you don't want to show up that day, or you don't want to show up inside the classroom and, you know, talk or ask questions, they notice stuff like that, especially because, you know, there might only be you as the only black kid, or you or two other black kids in your class. So we kind of keep each other accountable, at school or back home. Like I was saying, you got to make communities within communities, so you guys all look out for each other, make sure that you guys are early or on time. And yeah, that's pretty much what I would say. Like, in any situation, if you're like the only black person in your class, but maybe there's a few other black kids down the hall or this or that, you guys have class at the same time, like, just check in on each other, make sure you guys are all together, showing up, because again, we're all we got.
Well, and I like what you said about being on time. Our people sometimes have a very challenging time
Right.
not being on time. How important is that in the big scheme of things, as well as academics?
Oh yeah. So well, black people timing is a real thing, and you know, there's a place and a time for that, whether that's Thanksgiving or some type of family event. I guess I'll cut some slack on that for sure. Like, that happens to me all the time. But if it's some school, club activity, class, if it's the workspace, again, you're probably, even if you're not the only one, there's not many of you, so you stand out wherever you are. And like, showing up on time is a representation of, you know, your character. So there was a program I was in. It was called Green Scholars Program, when I was younger, and they would always preach that if you're if you're on time, you're late. If you're late, or they would say, if you're early, you're good. If you're on time, you're late, and if you're late, it's just unthinkable. So that's something that I really think matters, and just showing up. You know, you come prepared. You wake up earlier than you need to, so you can, you know, get some food in your system, throw on a nice outfit, because again, something something that was pretty instated in me growing up playing sports is like, you look good, you feel good, you play good. So that same
Well,
thing goes with school.
well, let's go to sports. What kind of sports did you play in high school and junior high?
So in junior high, I played basketball and football, and then in high school, I just played football and I ran track. So those were my two sports. And then my junior and senior year of high school, I started working at an all-girls middle school, after school. And yeah, that was a really good experience for me. I was the assistant athletic director there, so I had a pretty good time, made a lot of good connections. Obviously, like, working with kids, it's something I love doing, and it was just a great time hanging out with all the girls there. I was coaching them for football, or not football, I'm sorry, for basketball, volleyball, and then I would shadow or maybe sub, like, some physical education classes. But it was a pretty good time.
Well, let me ask you this: how important is it to surround yourself with people like yourself? Because I'm from deep East Oakland, and I went to Oakland public schools, and you had to be tough. You had to be a part of a clique group. How important is it to surround yourself with people who think like you, who want to achieve like you, and challenge and competition is a good thing? How important is that?
Oh yeah, it's really. I'm not exactly sure who told me this, but I was told, out of your 5 friends, maybe aren't doing as good as you. You're right in the middle, whether that's academically, um, goals wise. So you kind of want to keep yourself and your friend group, the people you surround yourself all high. Again, if you have 5 friends, you're the third one. So that's something that's always stuck with me.
Well, one of the things that has made me really, really understand and appreciate you is your ability to adapt. And you said most of the time the schools and the classmates didn't look like you. How did that affect you, and how did you deal with that?
At times it could be a little bit discouraging. Whether that's going to different types of extracurriculars, or just even in class, like obviously when no one else really looks like you, or they don't come from the same type of background, or they weren't taught the same as you. It can be hard for people to connect with you, and for you to really connect with others, but that's something you just got to push through. You got to push through it, and you honestly got to turn that into motivation, because you want to be a role model for the next generation that comes after. So the same way, if you've ever felt unmotivated or disencouraged because you were the only one, think of your little cousin who might be in that situation in 2 years, or your little brother who's going to be in that situation next year, and you would want them to have someone to look up to, or to reach out to talk to, because everyone else already has that. So we got to build that for our young Black community that's coming up.
Do you vote?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Do you vote?
Do I vote? I have voted, yes.
And how important is that? Because a lot of our young people are not voting now. How important is it?
Oh no,
Oh, go ahead.
It's mandatory. You have to vote. You have to.
What do you tell those young people out there who are not voting?
Well, you're lazy. It's not that hard to do it, and why have to wait 18 years and then you still don't do it? And it's really important, because if you want to see the change, again, it starts with you. And the issue is, if one person feels like they don't need to do it, or maybe 2 people or 3 people, then it keeps feeding and building on others. And that's where sometimes where if you wanted someone to win, they end up losing by a few votes or this or that, but it's all like a domino effect.
Right. Just recently, you and I attended Oakland City Council meeting. Can you share with our audience, from a young perspective, what you learned from that process, from that meeting?
Yeah, just like you could kind of connect it to voting, but it's really important that you show up. What I learned is that your representation really matters. Even if you're not saying anything, your presence is felt. And I shadowed Mr. Blackshire at the and when I went into shadow, everyone knew him. His presence was felt. I felt like my presence was felt. We could pretty much sit anywhere we wanted to in the courtroom, and it's just really important to show up, because when you show up, that's when you're heard, and when you put your votes in, that's when you're heard.
Can you share with our audience, after leaving the city council meeting, what offices we went to after that, and how we were embraced by our local politicians?
Oh yeah, I'm not exactly sure which offices we went to, but
the mayor's office. Well, we met with city council people, and I was thoroughly impressed with you for getting engaged. And how did you feel being able to walk into the mayor's office, walk into city council chamber, and how that impacted you as a young person. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, again, I was shadowing you, so obviously your presence was was rubbed off on me a bit. So when I went in there, I felt very powerful. Everyone knew you, so they were eager to meet me, and they were excited about who I was. And when I was telling them about my journey, they're really proud to see a young black man like myself in there and being engaged, because they don't see that often. It's really wonderful, and it's something that a lot of our people need to start doing more, so that our voices can really be heard.
And when we went into the mayor's office, Barbara Lee's office, the secretary, she had a student from USC come out to meet you. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so she had just got a job at the mayor's office. I'm pretty sure she said she was the mayor's. I'm not actually sure her role, and I don't want to get it wrong, so maybe I won't say it. But she just got a job there, and she was really excited to see someone like myself. She gave me her LinkedIn, and yeah, it was really nice to see representation. She was saying how important it is for me to keep working hard and to keep going, because just like I was saying earlier, you want to see someone who looks like you, who's been there, done that. So then, one, it not only encourages you, but it makes you feel more comfortable and more level-headed to really believe that you could do anything that you want.
And as we wrap this up, can you talk to our audience about your experience working in the public defender's office?
Oh, I think it's cutting out again if you're not talking.
Oh, okay. Can you share with our audience your experience about working with?
Yeah, I cannot hear you.
Okay.
Let me see.
Yeah, just you can go back out and come back in.
I'm gonna leave and then join back.
Audience, this young man has had the opportunity to work at the San Francisco Public Defender's Office. It was a paid internship that he was exposed to. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. Can you hear me now? Okay. While he comes out and comes back in, this young man worked in the public defender's office for the city and county of San Francisco, where he had the opportunity to work with the public defenders and see how the inner workings of a public defender's office. And one of the things that I appreciate about this young man is that he has the ability. Yeah, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Cool. Yep.
As we wrap this up, can you talk to our audience about your experience working in the public defender's office for city and county in San Francisco? Thank you.
Oh yeah. Working at the public defender's office this year was really a great opportunity to see. I worked under the IT department, and beyond that, I got the chance to go into the jails and actually get to talk to clients and, interview them and figure out what was going on with their case. And it's really important for black males especially to be in this field, because everyone needs a voice and to be heard, whether they can afford it or not. And going in, talking to these people, you got to connect with them on a level to where they feel comfortable talking with you, because these people who are in these jails, a lot of them that I've went in and interviewed and actually got to talk to, their situation, it was really just that the justice system failed them. And for an example, there was this young man who was 20 years old and I was 20 years old, and I'm talking to him, and he had a bunch of charges, a bunch of exaggerated charges, one for kidnapping and one for attempted robbery and this and that. And the whole time he just got in an argument with his girlfriend. So it's really important for people like us to be out there helping these young individuals and being the voice for them, because, again, sometimes they can't afford it. And we already know how the justice system is when it comes to people who look like us. So just being there was a really good opportunity.
And what would you say the percentage of African American males in our judicial system, our jail system?
Oh gosh, it's cutting out again.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Maybe try muting your mic and then unmuting it, because I think that sometimes works.
How about now?
If you can still hear me. If not, then I'll rejoin.
Well, I can just go back out and come back in, because I want our audience to hear your experience seeing the number of African. Okay, he's going to come back out and go back. Yeah, he's coming back. But one thing he explained to me, Isaiah, is that the number of African American men in our judicial system that are locked up far exceeds the number of any other group of people. And that is very, very sad. And we all know that. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you.
Can you explain, as we wrap up, what you saw with the number of African American men as it relates to other groups of people in our who are incarcerated?
Oh yeah, it was pretty much everyone in there was black. So, I mean, the few white and Asian people and Hispanic people I saw in there, and I actually interviewed them, their charges were a lot more serious. And it still seems like our justice system is putting people that look like us behind bars for very petty crimes or very exaggerated crimes. And even if they end up getting out after their arraignments, it's still like, why are they in there in the first place? If someone just had an argument with their girlfriend, and someone else called the police on them, and anybody would be scared and vulnerable going into a jail like that, and it's really just awful.
Audience, it seems like we may have lost Isaiah. I know he was going through the grapevine. Oh, there he is.
Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes.
I gotta leave and join back again.
No, you're good. I can hear you. Audience, this young man at the early age of 21 had the opportunity to visit, to work in our public defender's office, interview some of the inmates, some of the people who are being charged with serious crimes, kidnapping, etc. And as we all know, the Black male and female experience is much different than any other experience by any other group. So briefly, as we wrap this up, Isaiah, what were your findings after talking to many of these young people in regards to them being locked up and basically having the key thrown away or having their lives destroyed? Thank you.
Sorry, can you repeat the question one more time?
Can you share with this audience what you learned from talking to many of the young people who are been locked up right now? Thank you.
Yeah. What I learned that, they're normal people just like us, and it could be a bad time, bad situation, wrong place, wrong time type of situation. And a lot of these people, they seem like they could be normal people on the streets, or like I said, I interviewed a 20-year-old, and I've interviewed people younger than that too. Some of them seemed like they can honestly be like your friend or your homie, and just being there talking to them, you gotta get vulnerable, and you gotta build a trust with them so that they feel comfortable to even explain their situation to you. A lot of the times, um, when they're already in jail, they feel like they can't talk to anybody, and they don't even really believe that you're there to help them. But yeah, so I learned that these are normal people. Um, a lot of them are in there for nonviolent crimes or anything serious, and they were just at the wrong place, wrong time, and it's got their records messed up, or it's got their situation messed up, and yeah, it's just unfortunate to see how the justice system has failed our people even now.
Isaiah Adler, we at the Black Business Roundtable, we at blackusa.news, bmorenews.com, Dr. Glover Productions, we want to thank you for coming on today. I know you're on your way back to USC to finish, to enter into your third year of college. We wish and pray that you have a very successful year. I humbly ask that you come back on the show and share more of your experience as you enter into your third year at USC. Thank you, young man. And once again, keep up the good work because you are a role model for our young Black men in America who are having challenges with the system, with this country, with this country's process. So thank you, Isaiah.
Yep, thank you for having me.
All right.
All right, take care.
All right. Have a safe trip and drive safely through that grapevine.
Yep.
Audience, I want to thank you today for joining in with us. I want to thank you, Mr. Donnie Glover, for the honor of the Black Business Roundtable, being a part of your growing network dedicated to bringing the real, unfiltered news before the news. And as I always say, I want to thank the audience for continuing to share this podcast to your friends and loved ones across the city, county, state, and country. How important it is that we hear what Black people are doing in this country to make a difference in this country. Because if you watch the local media and even national media, they want to portray us as weed smoking, baggy pants wearing, 40-ounce drinking, unvaluable entities, humans in this country, and that is not the case. As we move forward, I want to say to this show's audience, I want to say to Donnie Glover, thank you all for showing up today. And if you have a splinter in your brain, if you have a broken hand, you go see a doctor. If you have a cavity, you go see a dentist. If you have a splinter in your brain, go see a doctor of psychology. Tune in Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 7 p.m. East Coast Time to hear the Black Business Roundtable. And our audience, we want to say thank you for participating, and we hope to see you next week. Remember, together, we can listen, we can learn, and we can share because I know you care. This is Doug Blackshear of the Black Business Roundtable on blackusa.news. God bless and good night.